Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined this week by my regular guest. It was absent last week, taking a bit of a sabbatical. Eamonn Donnelly, how are you? And welcome back.
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Matt. Evening, Carol.
Right,
I see coronation of King Charles there. I thought he was a Cocker Spaniel there. King Charles. All right. All good. All the better for yesterday. All the better.
Yeah, here. Great victory. Great win. I'm also joined by my UK-based GOONER, Carl Osborne. How are you, pal? And welcome back.
I'm all good, mate. Good to be back on.
Good to have you on. A nice little bank holiday for you today, so you should be fresh.
Oh, fresh day, mate. I've just broke up.
And I'm also joined by my newest guest. He had a solid debut last week, like Jakob Kivior yesterday against Newcastle. Matt Bourne, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me again. Fair play to you.
Great to have you back on, Matt.
Thanks very much.
Really good show last week with you, Jamie and Craig. So hopefully we get the same from OZZY and Eamonn. Big expectations now. The bar has been raised. The bar
It certainly has.
You can catch the show as always on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Thanks to Martin Stoneville, who edits this, and also his own show. Without Martin, there wouldn't be a Dublin Arsenal YouTube, so thanks to him as always. Also, you can catch us on Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as always. Check out our sister show, Beyond the Last Man. I'm not too sure when Martin will have another show up. I know the Arsenal women won 1-0 there at the weekend, so hopefully he'll have something up there later in the week. Check out our sponsor, Balon Sports Direct. Thanks to them for sponsoring us over the last couple of months. They've really good Ireland gear, so check it out there. Craig and Martin bought a couple of things off, and it looks really nice. Check out our friends at justarsenal.com. Pat McLaughlin's doing a great job there. Like and subscribe to his page, and thanks to them for putting us on their page as well to give us a bit of publicity as well. And also the River Bar. Check it out in Dublin City Centre, the official supporters club for the Arsenal. There are 3 more games to go, so I'm sure it's going to be packed out for those 3 games. Matt and Eamonn, you were there yesterday. Was there a good atmosphere? You were saying before we came on there, it was a bit quiet, was it?
It was a little bit quiet. Yeah, there wasn't as many. It was a decent atmosphere now, in fairness, when the goals went in. But the numbers weren't great. But listen, you're always going to get the hardcore in there as such. And the hardcore was certainly in, and it was it was a decent atmosphere. Not as many people, obviously, but no, it was nice. It was nice and comfortable, let's say.
Yeah, you get games like that, don't you? Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
When it's a Sunday game, people have things to do, and I notice the Saturday evening games is a bit more busier. But look,
I think I'd say probably next week you should get the numbers right up again. You know.
Yeah.
All gone well, so no. But no, it's always a good time in there, one way or the other.
Yeah, thanks to the River Bar crew for looking after us as always downstairs. They do a great job, and always good atmosphere as well. Yeah. So 3 more games for them to put up with us. Hopefully 3 more wins. I know because Martin was away in Vienna last week. Our show only went up today, Wednesday show. We've had 20 views in the last hour or so it's really good. 2 likes, and subscriber wise we're at 2,990, so we're edging closer to that 3,000 mark week by week now. So all listeners and viewers, please give us a like, listen, and any comments, good or bad, or whatever new content you'd like for us to include, please do. We take all on board. On this week's show, we'll be reviewing our 2-0 away success against Newcastle United. Superb performance, I think we'll all agree. And we'll also be previewing Sunday's big clash, which I'll be going to myself. Eamonn is going to take it, and OZZY.
I'll be there, mate.
Sadly, I think, Matt, you're the only one out on this one.
No, I am out. Yeah,
Sadly, yeah.
We'll FaceTime you. We'll FaceTime you.
Yeah, we'll rub it in.
Well, I did. Actually for a friend's daughter who passed away a few years ago, so I gave her my tickets for the game. So her and her brother are going over in his honor as such, you know.
Nice.
And they want to see. He's got a plaque outside the stadium now, so they wanted to see that and everything else. So
Lovely.
I gave them my tickets for that. So it's going to be
Lovely,
really
mate.
nice. Yeah. So
I have
there you
to say
go.
that's a lovely touch, Matt. Yeah, that's super. That is, yeah, that's a hard cut out there for you on that one. Yeah, that's brilliant to see. Yeah, and may you have a great day and see the Arsenal win as well. Fingers crossed.
All going well. That's the whole purpose of it. So we'll see. Yeah.
Poetry in motion, as they say.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It should be a great atmosphere. I've only been there twice. Leicester was the first game in August where we won 4-2, and thanks to OZZY for the Boxing Day 3-1 win against West Ham. So I'm going for a hat-trick of wins.
Nice.
Good sign, mate. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, Brighton will be on the back of a bad defeat, and you know, City will be on the end of a resurgent Everton, hopefully. So we'll see. We'll see.
The results have gone there, as Matt said. Just before we came on air, Everton gave Brighton a hiding at the Amex 5-1. Very unexpected.
Yeah.
So, as Matt said, you'd like to think at Goodison Park that'd be rocking, you know, and I think another win should do Everton to stay up. Yeah, so yeah, fingers crossed. They drew one on, of course, there at the Etihad. Demarty Gray scored a screamer for an equaliser, so you never know. Football's a funny old game, as they say.
Yes,
it's a funny old game, son.
I see Eamonn with the sheepskin coat, Matty there in the corner. On to yesterday's game, lads. 2-0. Martin Odegaard scored his 15th goal of the season, absolute screamer. And Fabian Schär scored an OG. Bit of luck at last for us, I think is fair to say. I thought standout performers before we get into the details of the match. I thought Kivior had a solid game at the back, as well as last week against Chelsea. He settled right in. Jorginho, immense in midfield, 70 odd passes. What a sign, and he just calms everything down. And his experience from winning things with Chelsea, you can see that the players look and listen to him, and that's the main thing. Yeah, I thought Martinelli great down the wing. He gave them all sorts of problems with Bukayo Saka as well. Odegaard was brilliant in midfield as well with Granit Xhaka. I thought all 11 really were faultless. Ramsey made 5 key saves. The most notable one was Schär's header. 5 minutes into the second half, absolutely incredible, and he's been doing that all season. In fairness to him, what a future he has at the Arsenal if he stays with us. And he saved a good one from Joe Willock at the end of the first half as well. I thought Jacob Murphy obviously hit the post after 2 minutes, gave us a bit of a kick up the earth early on, and it certainly did. Then Guimaraes shot hit off Kivior's arm, and I thought, here we go now. I thought VAR was going to do us again, but thankfully just off the upper arm, and common sense prevailed at long last for us, because VAR has gone against us a lot of times in the past. I thought Odegaard shot from outside the box. It was an absolute rocket. Pope wasn't expecting it. But look, 3 goals in a week, 2 at Chelsea at the Emirates, and again, Captain Supreme, we call him now. He goes kind of unnoticed in games, but what a player. Just superb. And the second half, aside from the goal that we got, I thought we done really well to see it out, you know. Nice, calm, you know. Bar a few chances for Newcastle. The header from Schär was really the most notable one, but I thought we done really well in the second half. You know, we quietened down the St. James's Park crowd with that first half goal from Odegaard, and I think the first goal in that match was always going to be important. 3 points at the St. James's, as yourself and Matt said last week. Revenge is sweet after what happened there last year. The result leaves us second, 35 played, 81 points, point off City, who have a game in hand. But I think this is going to go down to the wire now. I think the hunger's back again after those 3 draws, and I can see us taking it down to the Wolves game if I'm being really optimistic. I don't want to come to you, Matt. A solid debut last week, so we might as well start off with you again. How did you see it this week?
It was phenomenal. I think, you know, it shows the maturity. I mean, even between this season and last season, how much the team have matured, and it bodes so well for next season. You know, if they can put a performance in like that. I mean, they were kicked around the park from the start of the game. How Newcastle didn't have a few yellow cards before the second half. You know, they absolutely kicked us off the pitch. Yeah. But the Arsenal stood up to them. They stood up to everything. They were mature. They didn't get into trouble themselves. They didn't get any cards. You know, right across the pitch, I thought Jorginho was an absolute phenomenon. Yeah. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just like you say, QR as well. Ramsdale was incredible. Ramsdale got the Arsenal man of the match yesterday for the few saves. But he's doing that week in, week out. You know, yes, he's going to occasionally play a bad back pass out and you know, give away an early goal. but you know, he makes up for it. You know, he's incredibly solid for the whole season. He's been absolutely brilliant. I think again, Xhaka was fantastic. You can't really fault him anywhere on the pitch, to be honest with you. You really can't. They were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And they were as tough as I've seen them all season. They really, really stood up to a really tough Newcastle at a really tough stadium to go to. Newcastle had only lost 4 games prior to that. And I thought it was just absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, Martinelli had a really good game, didn't he, down that flank? He was unlucky in the second half when his shot just flicked off the crossbar, you know, deserved to go in. Yeah. I thought everyone's work rate though yesterday was really, really good, wasn't it? Like it was, absolutely, yeah. And who stood out for you, Matt, yourself, man of the match, boys?
I think Jorginho, you know, I mean, I think Odegaard got it on Sky. I know Ramsdale got it on Arsenal. Jorginho, I think, was just incredible. You know, to have someone like him in the team to come in, to step in, to step into for someone like Partey, who, you know, Partey's had a really good season. Maybe he's fallen away a little bit recently, but to have somebody to step in there who is just phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant. I really, really hope they hang on to him now and he stays on. And you know, he's not going to be a starter every week, but he's certainly somebody you can rely on to come in and do a job when you need it. You know, so definitely give it to Jorginho.
Yeah, Jorginho would have been mine as well. Yeah, a deadline day signing, and I have to say, really good business along with Trossard. Yeah, he was a signing that I never saw coming. I know. No. I was saying it to me on WhatsApp last night.
I don't think anybody saw it coming. All the Chelsea players didn't see it coming either, you know?
Oh, yeah. If only we'd have tied Casiano and Mudryk. If only we'd have signed them.
Yeah, but you see how they went. Yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it? Like, after your hats off to Eddie, he really done his business well in all the transfer windows, really, hasn't he? In the last 3 windows at least.
Well, Eamonn said to me in the club yesterday, I was briefly spoke about Mudryk, and he said, I said to him, I said, geez, Mudryk, you know, some player. And Eamonn looked at me and he went, but is he? You know, like we don't know really. He's
not finished. He's not the finished.
No.
I think he's got potential. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He came on the Emirates. He was good. But he's not the finished player. He's not the Trossard.
Like with Trossard, you've got a Premier League ready player there who's played for a few years, who's, you know, proven it, and you know it's hard.
Glenn Helder had potential.
Who?
Glenn Helder had potential.
Yeah,
he did.
Quincy had potential.
Jorginho.
Yeah. That's it. That's true.
Hats off to Jorginho yesterday. Yeah, I think he deserved man of the match, you know. But look, I suppose like all of them really did. You know, there wasn't many that put a foot wrong yesterday, you know. But yeah, if you have to give it to one, it was a very close call, Jorginho, for me as well, Matt. Obviously, you were saying it to me on WhatsApp about Jorginho. quality sign.
He's a
How did
quality
you
player.
see the game?
There was some bearded chap on this podcast after the Man City game that suggested bringing Jorginho in then. So that's a pretty good call there, wasn't it? So it just shows that Mick listens to this, doesn't he? Mick and Eddie. They almost sit here on an evening with their barbecues on watching this. But yeah, look, I think what I thought for the game against Newcastle, I think it's clear to see what their game plan was. They went toe to toe for us. They went 4-3-3 against our 4-3-3, and I think the early pressure and the tense atmosphere was always going to put Newcastle on top, and we sort of soaked it up. Yes, we got lucky with a post and the pen. I think the pen was the right decision to see VAR. But Jacob Murphy's a couple of inches either side, it'd have been a goal, wouldn't it? So or not. So I think it's I think the early pressure was obvious. I think their game plan was to sit out and bully us.
Yeah.
And I think, like Matt said, they were physical. They tried to kick us off the park, but it was very clear that they were going to try to bully us, and it didn't work. Because I think that they thought it's only Arsenal. If we go physical with them, they're going to roll over, and we didn't, and we showed that we didn't. I think going back to that point I made about bringing Jorginho in, either parties carried and something else going on there, but I think Jorginho brings in that stability into the team, and I think with Jacob Kiwior as well, I think he's been quite remarkable to come in at this stage of the season with all the pressure and soak it up. Says a lot about the potential of this player, another player with potential. Now we can't expect him to do week in, week out at the moment. He's a young lad, but what he's doing is it kind of reminds me of Saliba's sort of how he's shown to the squad. He just took to it straight away, didn't he? And we've got to remember this is a Polish international, so he's not come up for the youth academy. He's played big games.
Yeah, he's proven. Yeah.
So he's not completely as early into his career as we think. But yeah, I just think Jorginho's made a bit of a difference with that midfield. I think he's settled things up. We're not giving the ball away like we were for the 3 draws that we had, and I think he's just steadied the ship a bit. And I think that's exactly what he's done. I think the game could have been 5-4, couldn't it? Let's be honest. I think it could have been one of them games. Yeah. I think credit to Ramsdale, but also credit to Nick Pope, because I thought he'd done some cracking saves as well. I think there were 2 chances there. The Saka and Odegaard one, there should have been goals. Equally the same as Shah with Ramsdale, and possibly the Willock one as well. So I think it could have been a high scoring one. One of the things I'm going to point out about it, I know we're saying how great Jorginho is and stuff like that, but there was a block made by Granit Xhaka. And for me, it's a tackle of the season. It was absolutely threw his body on the line for the club there.
Yes.
Threw himself in front of that ball. And he shouldn't have got that. And there's a player that's turned it around, and he's been great this season, isn't he? Fantastic win. I think the pressure, but how the squad have dealt with that pressure that was on them. It was a big game. I've got to be honest, I wasn't as confident as about this game. I generally thought this was the one that was going to probably take the title away from us, or the chance of a title away from us. And we've still got a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly lifted us. I think the away fans were incredible, as you've already mentioned. And then I think Newcastle are a great side. I think they're well coached. The coach, I've got a lot of respect for Eddie Howe, apart from the comments after the game. He's got a short memory talking about time wasted. But he's just doing what he needs to do to keep the fans on side, isn't he? But he's done a good job with Newcastle. I think it's a very good 3 points. I think it shows how our team are mentally strong, physically strong, and I think it just shows the process. And we're not bottling it. We're not. And then I'm not going to have a rant about that this season. But a team that's bottling it don't go to St James's Park and get a result like this. They're doing what they can. They've had a bit of a bump in the road, and they're back on it. So fair credit to them. Arteta, who are training players, brilliant. There's my assessment on it. Man of the match will be Jorginho. I agree with Matt on that. Phenomenal player. And I thought Kiwior was quite second to that, to be honest. I think he was close from that as well. But great to see. Cracking game. 3 points. Let's bring on Brighton.
Yeah, yeah. Back-to-back wins in a week as well, yeah. After the 3-1 win, as I said earlier on against Chelsea, yeah. Definitely the hunger is back. I know you yourself, Eamonn, welcome back to the show after missing last week. You were with Matt in the River Bar. What did you make of the game yesterday, Eamonn?
As I say, at the end of the day, we won a game. Get on with it. One game. Get on with it. No, to be honest with you, it was the most satisfying performance in years for 1,000,001 reasons that some of the boys have touched on already. Myself and Matt, like we sat together, but metaphorically, we were cradled like that. Watching it like Freddy Krueger, but like we got there in the end. So the first thing I'll say is Newcastle were filthy, absolutely filthy. I haven't seen a Premier League team get away with as much shithousery as they got away with yesterday. At one stage, I was going to look up to see did I have a number for Peter Story and give him a ring.
Dirty, yeah, absolute dirty.
Yeah. And don't be put off by this Eddie Howe, Mark Lester and Oliver Twist lookalike, who will buy my sweet friend? This guy is a serious coach. This guy is a serious coach with serious attitude, and he has the dog in him, And so to beat the team that he put out yesterday with the attitude that they had, everybody's talking about our attitude. The attitude that they had, they really went for it, and we dealt with it. Bruno Guimaraes should have been booked about 20 times.
Yeah.
They weren't only leaving the leg in. They were leaving elbows in everywhere and shoulders into faces and all sorts of stuff. But we stood up to it, and that was really, really, really encouraging. As well as the game management. Take this thing out of the crowd. Gabriel is the best at it. He goes down. He goes down like a roll of lino every time there's a bit of noise in the crowd. It's fantastic, Our counter-attacking play was really sweet. The way we carved them open, despite them having, I think they had 55% possession or whatever compared to our 45, which is not like us. They had 395 passes to our 350. That's not like us. But our 350 passes were way more incisive than theirs.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And I think that was great. Hats off to the manager for showing the video to the players and just before they left the hotel of the all or nothing, and the hurt on all their faces, because one or two of the players spoke about that and said, "We're going there, and that's not going to happen this time," because we got bullied there last year as well.
Yeah.
So hats off, and you can't do that all of the time. But Arteta is such an intelligent guy. He seems to find different ways of motivating people, and you got to give credit there. I did say on the show after the Man City game that I thought the team would play with a bit more freedom now that we weren't kind of out there to be pulled down. And you could see, I know we were under the cosh a bit, but we played with freedom. We still tried to play it out from the back. We still got our counter-attacks in, and we were sensational in the first half against Chelsea the other night. So if everybody listened to me, Jonathan, everything will be okay.
Mikel Arteta seems to be listening week on week. I think we're doing a good job.
A couple of other things that particularly Carl touched on. Kivior was immense. I mean, for a guy to come in, okay, he's a full Polish international, but he's barely got the language. He's barely getting to know the team. For him to come in and do what he did yesterday was phenomenal. And he made Gabriel better.
Yeah.
He made Gabriel better, and I thought that was good. I think Mickey got the substitutions right. I think I said to Matt at one stage. Zinchenko was beginning to get kind of exposed down that side. That we'd be better off getting Tierney on. And James, the next thing we look up, and there's the board. So again, the direct line to Mikel, you might have one as well.
Mate, we're gonna have a tracksuit next season. We're gonna be on that bench.
So Martin Odegaard disappears in big games, apparently.
Yeah.
Does he now?
Definitely not.
This guy has it all. I don't ever want to see him defending in our own box because he's not good at that. So why should he ever do it? But he has it all, and he doesn't disappear. This guy has the ability of Liam Brady, and that's another thing I said to Matt yesterday.
Yeah.
We were also with a young fella. It was very interesting. Like he was, what was he in his 20s, Matt? Was he?
I'd say so.
He was actually from the Pesh mode in 1981 but the guy was going bonkers. It was great to see. It was mad stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, what else have I got? So yeah, Carl covered this. Yeah, so we're butlers then, are we? Yeah. Well, we weren't butlers yesterday. And John Cross, who's very well connected to the Arsenal and he writes for the Mirror, said, well, if they're butlers, blimey, somebody forgot to tell them.
Yeah.
No?
It's very disrespectful to the team, yeah.
Yeah. And at this stage, we've beaten all but 2 teams in the league. You know? We've beaten all but 2 teams. And the only 2 teams we haven't beaten in the league is Man City, obviously, and then we had 2 draws against Southampton. Yeah. But you know, and that's a kind of phenomenal return, you know. And just going back on the Odegaard thing, what did we pay? 32, 35 million?
35, I think, yeah.
Whatever it was, you know. And I remember meltdown. Oh, we're not taking him back. You know, we need better than that. We need an upgrade in that. We need some careless kick-a-ball from wherever, you know. Martin Odegaard has been one of the most astute pieces of business.
Yeah.
Right? Granit Xhaka, sure, you know my feelings on him. But to get into the position he got into to make that tackle, Carl, it wasn't just the tackle, it was the desire to get
back.
You know?
You look at that still when it shows how far before he starts that run. He shouldn't have got to it. He had no right to get to that.
Yeah.
And then Jorginho, well, you see, I first noticed him as a serious player when Italy won the European Championships. At Chelsea, they had him doing all the wrong things. I mean, and he was a hoppity-skippity type, you know, and all of that type of thing. He is a really serious player. His desire to get on the ball, his bravery to get on the ball. As Terry Venables would say, he's got feet. And he can go high and low. He can go here and there. And he's got an head. Right? He's got feet and a head.
He's got 2 good feet.
But even did you see the one that he headed out? He's only a small lad. The one that he headed out and then whacking calmed everything down. Like, that's bravery. That's bravery. So I think Jorginho was phenomenal, and I just think that it was a really satisfying day all around. Really, one of the greatest memories I have of watching the Arsenal was yesterday.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But you know what, and you say that, Eamonn, but they've done so much this year overall that has made us, you know, so proud as such to be Arsenal fans. There's so many games you can pick out so many games this season that come back against Bournemouth when we were there. You know, like to dig in like that when they needed to. They've done that so many times this year. They've just been absolutely. They've beaten all our expectations, and I know we may fall just that little bit short, but you know, we never expected to start the season. We want the Champions League. We've got Champions League. We've got second in the Premier League behind Man City. We've you know, completely turned around the deficit from Chelsea last year, from Liverpool last year. You know, we're absolutely ripping Tottenham apart this season, you know, from a points point of view and from a wins point of view against them as well. You know, we've done so much this year. They've done so much to make us proud, and it's been a phenomenal season, which we may get nothing out of, but it's been brilliant. I look back at it as just, you know, an amazing season.
Guaranteed second. Guaranteed second. Yeah. I'd have took that in August. I'd have took that all day long, wouldn't you? I don't know about yourselves, but that's process.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We look back at this season as well, lads, as the turning point in Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, as where we're going to become challengers. You know, and seriously, you know, teams are taking note of us now. You know, that's what you can take out this season. You know, we pushed City nearly all the way now. You know, where Guardiola thought yesterday they would have a bit of a cushion. You know, but they'd have to keep putting their full strength 11 out every game as far as they continue in the Champions League. So it's only give them a headache as well. You know.
Yeah.
It's just like, even when you look at 83 goals scored, I think that was Ramsdale's 13th clean sheet of the season. He's only 2 behind David De Gea. You know, it's just been brilliant. I think Ramsdale has just grown game on game. You know, you know, the last 2 seasons he'll be with us. He's just grown as he's only 23, is he? 23, 24.
Yeah. But Jonathan, in my research for this show, because I've been put to shame by Carl on how much research he does, so I decided to do a bit of research at 5 to 8. I just looked at the Premier League table for the last under Arteta. 19-20 season, 14 wins, 14 draws, 10. Scored 56, conceded 48, 56 points. Next season, 118, drew 7, lost 13. Scored 55, conceded 39, 61 points. 21-22. 122, drew 3, lost 13, 61 goals, 48 against 69 points. And this season, with 3 games to play, 125, drew 6 and lost 4 with 83 goals. Yeah. So you can see, apart from the fact that with 3 games to go, he stuck 25 points on our points tally.
Yeah.
We found ways to score goals. And we found ways to excite fans and get us all excited about things. And, we most likely will come up a bit short this year. But our aim this year was for Champions League football. And I don't think it's just this season that's a turning point, Jonathan. I'll go back to what I said the last time I was on about the 5-phase process. Burn the house down, phase 1. Phase 2, get back into Europe. Phase 3, get into the Champions League. Phase 4, add to your squad. Phase 5, challenge for everything. And I thought I could see last season we were on the right trajectory, even if we needed to prescribe Xanax for some of the people who were having meltdowns and all that type of stuff. But definitely, this team is on the right path. We need more players to improve the squad. And it's going to be hard on some of the guys that have put us where we are this season. You will see some of the guys we eulogise on this show will be hard pushed to get a game next year. And that's the trajectory we're on,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're becoming more of an attractive club to players to join us. There's an exciting project being built.
You know what, Johnny, right? I was speaking to a Liverpool fan today, and I've heard it, not just the chap I spoke to today, but I've had it last few weeks. A lot of people, he's a Liverpool fan, say now, he's rooting for Arsenal to win the league this season. Obviously, he doesn't like City, but everyone's talking about how good we are. The neutrals are talking about how good we are. It's people are talking about the Arsenal again and the way we play, because we play good football as well, don't we? We look good.
We're attractive, yeah.
And to have us back like that, when only a couple of years ago we was described as banter FC and stuff like that. I think it's such a way we've come, and I'm so proud of Arsenal for that, because we've turned it around pretty quickly. We could see it coming, but not many of us could, not other fans. And I think that's credit to Arteta and Edu. I think they'll go down in history from our books as turn this round, because I've enjoyed this season more than as much as any.
Yeah.
Even if you beat them away, I think.
Yeah. I haven't enjoyed a season like this, if I'm really being honest, since the 03-04 season. When we done the Invincibles. And that says a lot. We've come in 19. It's hard to believe it's 19 years since we.
I know. I think people forget about one team at the Arsenal that should have won the league, and that was the 07-08 team. That if Rosicky hadn't got crocked and Eduardo broken his leg, we would have won the league that year.
Yeah.
We finished with 83 points that year. We lost the league by 4 points, and we kind of faltered at the end because we ran out of strikers and stuff. Yeah. That was a really exciting team. The problem was the problem was the vultures were in for our players. City took out ABR and all of that type of thing. Our players aren't going anywhere.
No, exactly. We're not a selling club anymore. Yeah.
Like people talk about stuff like you even mentioned it yourself, Jonathan. Because my listening skills are turned on tonight. You even mentioned it yourself about Aaron Ramsdale. If we can keep him, where's he going to go?
Yeah.
You
won't want to go.
No.
You don't want to go.
No.
We're the second best club in the country.
Talks, but I can't see him leaving. No, why would you go?
Not chance.
But where would he go? We're the second best club in the country in the biggest league in the world.
Yeah.
Where's he going to go? Where's Bukayo Saka going to go? Stay with the Arsenal because we're on the right path. You know.
Aaron Ramsdale, are you listening? Boy, okay, you know, if you listen, if everyone does listen to us, we'd have a big one.
Mikel will show him. Mikel will show him that bit.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're on an upward trajectory, yeah. So we're all going for lads. Jorginho was our man of the match from yesterday.
No, I'm going to do something different, and for the reasons I purely just to throw a bit of different spice into the mix. I'm going to give it to Kivior for the distance that he's travelled to get from having a very, very shaky debut and a traumatic experience to the way he stepped into the last 2 games. And I said to Matt yesterday, this guy's going to be around.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
Gabriel mightn't get a game next year. This is the point I'm making. Like, if Saliba is around next season, which I believe he will be, according to a few leaks in the French media, he's putting in a gym into his house and all that type of stuff. Yeah. So you know, all of that type of thing. So if Saliba's around next season, it'll be a battle royale for the Kivior versus Gabriel left-sided defensive position, and that's what you need. You know.
Yeah.
He was highly sought after. I said it last week on the show. Kivior was highly sought after by other clubs. You know, when we went in for him in January, you know, he was highly thought of in Italy. I'd be honest now, I don't watch much of the Serie A, so I couldn't say, but seemingly he was being raved about, and he's a Polish international as well, you know. So, you know, look, the English game is faster, isn't it, than the Italian league, and it does take time to get up to speed when they're being used sporadically. You know, you need a run of games, but as Eamonn says, he's going to be a great, if not backup.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, yesterday as well. I thought yesterday as well. Tierney's cameo was phenomenal. He was phenomenal when he came on. You know, like Eamonn said, Eamonn went to get a point, and he said they need to take Zinchenko off and get Tierney on. And as soon as he came back with his point, the board was up.
He did go for a point. He sent a text to Mikel.
When Tierney came on, he was absolutely phenomenal. He was phenomenal. You know, he really was. And you know, the chances are we may lose him in the summer.
Yeah.
Because a player like him, you know, you can understand that if he wants to leave. You know, he's not going to play second fiddle, but he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant when he came on. And like Eamonn was saying about our friend that was sitting beside us, was a big Tierney fan, big Tierney fan, if you remember, Eamonn.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's an old school guy.
So different. He's so different, Tierney, isn't he? He just offers that. He's such a different player to Tierney. I think there's a place for Tierney. A certain game stream. We've said this before, haven't we, on the pod? A few of us have said that. Tierney's for a certain type of game. Zinchenko's great when you're on the attack, but he's defending.
Yeah, we were saying that yesterday. What we were saying about that was Zinchenko maybe when we're at home and we're dominating the ball and all that type of thing, we're trying to find a way. But yesterday, the last half hour was tailor-made for Tierney because it was all bollock and bite, and he was absolutely brilliant. You know, he's. I remember being at the game at the London Stadium when Freddie Ljungberg was in charge, right after Unai had been sacked. And we were down near the bottom of the table at the time, and Kieran he fell on his shoulder that night and ended up being out for a couple of months. We were all gutted because we knew he was a future captain. Matt said that to me yesterday. This guy was a future captain, you know, and it just shows you the evolution under Arteta. You know, a guy who was a nailed-on certainty to be a future captain of the team is struggling to get into the team. But that's the quality you need. You've got to be ruthless, you know.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to
make guy. We all know he's a great guy. You know?
Yeah, Arteta isn't afraid to wield the axe when he has to. Yeah, you know, another sign of a good manager. Yeah, it looks like by the looks with Newcastle in for Tierney, you know, and look, you never know. Hopefully, he does stay. I'd like to see him stay. You know, at the Arsenal, but I can't. As Matt says, he's won so many titles with Celtic. He's a born winner, you know, and he like your career is so short as well in football.
I heard Man United are in for Paul Tierney.
Like that's a certain
no, they want them to replace Paul Durkin.
But Jane. look, lads, it's a great project we have under Arteta, and long may it continue. And hopefully Declan Rice joins us now as well in the summer.
No, I have to correct you there now. This is not a project. This is the Arsenal. This is an institution. This is us finding ourselves.
It's a project in motion.
Hey.
Big name manager needed.
Big name manager, getting bigger by the day is with us. And I said again,
is to keep
something what I said to Matt yesterday. This guy is going to become one of the all-time great managers, and I'd love him to do it with us.
Absolutely.
I can't see why not, but yeah, I can't see. Like, being honest with you, I can't see Arteta's head being turned anytime soon. You know, there's a great partnership there with our Edu, and as long as he stays in there doing the transfer business, you can't see why not. Yeah. No, look, another solid win for us yesterday, lads. Potentially tricky one, but we came up with the guts. This I think it was nearly a year to the day when we lost 2-0. So yeah, things have turned. And that brings us on to Brighton now. We preview this one now. Brighton lie 7th, beaten 5-1 tonight by Everton at home. They have 55 points. Roberto De Zerbi's their manager, probably in the run for manager of the season. He's done a great job there. I like their side of football. I think they've been a great watch this season. I would like to see them in Europe. You know, it'd be hard to keep him though. He's done such a good job since Graham Potter left. To say he's kicking himself why he left. Don't understand why he left. We won there 4-2 on New Year's Day. A cracking game that was. Our own Evan Ferguson got his first Premier League goal. Martinelli scored a great goal. He ran halfway down the pitch to score. I think it was the 4th goal, straight through the legs to Sanchez. But that was a great game. It was 0-0 the year before, and I didn't expect that away performance. Another performance like that at home would do nicely. Few players to note I've taken down of Brighton. Pascal Gross, Cairo Matoma. Evan Ferguson is back again. He missed a chance there tonight. He could have scored. Alexis McAllister probably won't be there next year. The young lad so he scored a screamer against Chelsea there a few weeks back. Moses Caicedo, who we nearly got in January, but sadly that didn't work out. But we might go back in for him again. And Sonny March, but they've got a lot of other good players as well. Be a tough game Sunday. You know, after that battering tonight. They might come out Sunday wanting to show a different side of them, you know. They bet us there at home. I think, was it 2-1? Caicedo, I think, scored that day. Or was it? No, I think it was the other lad that retired due to his heart. Can't remember his name, but that's that game and the Southampton game all but ended our chances as well. That blip we had in April last year of getting into the Champions League spots. With the form we're on, I think I'm going to go for a home win here. It'd be a hard fought game, I think. I think Brighton give as good as they get. They keep the ball very well. Under De Zerbi. I'd probably go with 2-1 myself. You know, it'll be a tight game, but I think we'll see it through. With the form we're on after the last 2 wins. I'll come to you, Matt. Tough game this one, Moses?
Yes, it'll be a tough game, no doubt about it. But I see us comfortably winning our last 3 games. I don't think there's any pressure on us now anymore. You know, there's no pressure on us. All the pressure's on City to keep going. All to do is win our 3 games and do that job. I think we'll win them. And same with Newcastle last week. I have no fear of Brighton. And yes, they're a very, very good side. They have a lot of very good players, a very good manager. I hope they get Europe, but not at our expense. I see us beating them comfortably, to be honest with you. I think you're going to have a good day there on Saturday and get a nice 3-0 win.
You can't beat a confident man. You said we beat Newcastle and we won, so I'm going to go with you on this one, Matt. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you.
I know, just before we come to Eamonn and OZZY, before we came on here, you dedicated your tickets to two people there? You know?
Yeah. So a good friend of mine, Tom, passed away a few years ago, and I keep in touch with his family. And his daughter asked me a couple of months ago if I could get her tickets. Of course, no tickets to be found. So I had 2 tickets for the Brighton game, and I gave them to her for her and her brother. So yeah, a nice touch for them to get over to the game. I was over there a couple of weeks ago at a gig. I think I said last week, the Louis Dunphy gig.
Yeah.
And I went up and saw the plaque and the whole lot and sent her the pictures of the plaque and everything else. So, no, listen, it was me and Tom were good mates. We went to the Champions League final in 2006 in France. We'd get together regularly for games. And unfortunately, cancer took him away, as it does to many people. But no, lovely to be able to give them the tickets. And I hope they get a great result. I really do. You know?
Fair play, mate. Well played, mate.
Yeah, I have to say that's a great great touch, you know.
Yeah.
Sadly, my uncle passed of cancer as well, so it takes all the good ones young. So you know, all the good ones.
Certainly does. Certainly does. Yeah.
I'd like to mention to any viewers and listeners, cancer.ie for any donations to the Irish Cancer Society. You know, a great charity there to do a lot of great work for people and families going through such a horrible disease, you know. So any listeners or viewers there, you can donate through cancer.ie. All donations, no matter how big or small, are always welcome, you know, because it always goes towards a great cause, you know. What a nice touch, Pat. And you know, applause there. Eamonn, how do you see the game going on Sunday yourself?
On Sunday, yeah. Well, the one thing I'll say is, I was doing an old chicken stew here, which I'm going to eat after this show, and I was watching Brighton and Everton. Don't be put off by that result.
No.
Brighton had 19 shots on target. Everton 9. Everton scored after 34 seconds, and they just got them running them. And it was 3-0 at half time, and Brighton went on 4 substitutions at half time. And I'm telling you, even though I don't rate him as highly as some, Jordan Pickford was out of this world this evening, right? Brighton are a serious team who can hurt you, and they've hurt us more than we've hurt them. They've actually taken more points off us if you go head-to-head over the last 4 years than we've taken off them, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with Matt on the basis that the pressure's off us, and if we play with the same hunger and desire that we played with yesterday. And in fairness, we've played with the same hunger and desire pretty much every game this season, bar the odd one. Everton away was the obvious one, right? Sometimes you play with hunger and desire and you don't win. And that's just football. Because you have to remember, there's another team on the pitch who wants to win as well. You know? But I think that if we turn up with that... and by the way, we had hunger and desire against Southampton. Things just went wrong. You know, things just went wrong. And because we had hunger and desire, we managed from the 88th minute to the 95th minute to get 2 goals to equalise and then break the crossbar. That's hunger and desire. So sometimes things just don't go your way. But I think, you know, we've better players than they have. And on that basis, I'd fancy a 2-1 win for ourselves, you know.
Yeah, be a tight game, I think, yeah. OZZY, how do you see the game going yourself on Sunday? We're all there.
Yeah, I think we'll add to touch on a lot of points I was going to say, to be honest. I think it all depends what Brighton turns up. Like, I watched the Brighton-Manchester United game, and I thought Brighton were absolutely fantastic in that game. Yeah. They absolutely deserved to beat Man United, even though they waited to the 97th minute, which made it hilarious. But it was they absolutely bossed that game. They absolutely deserved it. And I was very impressed by it. It's the first time it's one game I really analysed them, knowing that it got them come up. And I thought they were great. I think they're a talented side. I think they're well coached. I think they're like Eamonn says. I don't think we can read too much into the game today. It's a wounded dog and all that. They've got a chance of upsetting us, and they've got a lot to play for as well. But equally, I expect us to go out intense from the start. I expect to see I'm expecting one of those intense starts at the Emirates today. I'll tell you what's going to play a part in this as well is the City Everton game at 2:00 beforehand, isn't it? It's just before the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And I think that's going to have.
Game.
I think that's going to have similar to when City played Liverpool in the game just before the game at the Emirates. It did have a bit of an impact on the atmosphere.
Yeah.
In the crowd, and I think that if Everton pick up anything from that, if a place is going to be rocking. But likewise, we just need to make sure, I think that'll have a big impact on regardless of what will happen. I think that's a big thing happening before that. But I've gone for a 2-0. And I just want to touch on Eamonn's point about hunger for the Southampton game. I went to Taco Bell on the Seven Sisters Road. And mate, the portion sizes there are terrible. I was starving for the whole of that Southampton game. Honestly, mate, don't buy. I've bought a volcano meal deal thing, and honestly, portion size was terrible. So I was hungry for the Southampton game as well. I'm trying to avoid hunger, but yeah, don't recommend it. Don't recommend it at all.
You need a kebab, mate. A kebab is your only solution there.
I'm going to go back to the food vans because I was.
Or if you go to one of those, PFCs on the Blackstock Road, you can get about 48 chicken legs, 3 breasts, and chips for $2.50, and then they throw in a free portion of chicken wings. Wow. I mean, honest to God.
It's the first time I've veered away from the chippy on Gillespie Road, mate. And I'll tell you what, mate, I was disappointed. So I'm not sure against Southampton, mine was terrible.
I'm not sure the chicken population in Finsbury Park is that same. There's chickens running away everywhere. He's butcher over the knife, he's doing his own thing.
Sorry. What about?
I want to come back on one point, Ozzy. I want to come back on one point that you made, Jonathan, about the good players that Brighton have, and you mentioned that lad Casido, and you said who we nearly got, and they were looking for 80 million quid, and you also said, and hopefully Declan Rice will sign us. Let's not all kid ourselves that we're buying Casido and Declan Rice and all these people.
Declan Rice is a given now. It's hard to say.
I don't know. It's all up to happen.
Yeah. He said it to his agent, saying that he won't sign for anyone else but us. So
until he's holding a shirt, mate, I won't believe it. But yeah,
until Man City, until Man City make it big. Yeah.
I don't think so. No, like why would he go to City?
Don't get me wrong, because Casido is a great player. He's a good player. He played really well.
Hold on now, it wouldn't be like Declan Rice to Toon.
No history there whatsoever.
No history there.
He was the air in the vein, Jordan, to God save the King. Yes,
he went from being St. Patrick to St. George.
Now he's saying
disgraceful act of treachery, and I'm gonna throw me pen.
Declan Rice, is your head turning at this?
Hold on, if I give him maybe signs though, I will. I was actually watching him. I was watching him yesterday when I got home. I don't know whether you were. Oh no, Matt, you had to go and give lifts to people. I watched the Irons against Manure when I got home. Whatever bit was left on. In fairness, he was very good. He was very, very good.
He's a quality player. Yeah, he is. He's quality. But there's a chance of West Ham winning that Conference League as well. Which be a nice way to finish off your career there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they could leave a place for Tottenham in it.
Yeah, it's great seeing sports doing so badly.
I'll tell you, obviously nobody at Tottenham ever studied Pythagoras. They're still banging on about getting into the Champions League.
Yeah, already.
It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Harry Modo's there saying, we're still going to throw about for the Champions League. Jesus Christ, what drugs are they on? What are they smoking down there at White Hart Lane?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, right? I'm going to pose a question here. Right? Would you take Harry Kane?
No, absolutely not. No.
Just saying.
Too old for what we're doing. Would I take Harry Kane 5 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we took Sol Campbell. And look how that worked out.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think he's bang on to leave, isn't he? It's just where he goes.
He's absolutely going to leave, but there's no way he's going to go to Arsenal.
He's just bought a house he's had a house built in Wentworth, isn't he? So, do you reckon Chelsea?
Possibly.
Sure, Chelsea. Sure, anybody could end up with Chelsea.
Basically, offered a 9-year contract there, and that's the end of his career, then,
Citizen Kane could end up with Chelsea.
Another individual at Chelsea,
I just wonder what you think he might go, because I don't think he'll go
Kane, Ozzy, Harry Kane wouldn't suit our style of play.
No, I just wondered. That's why I posed the question.
No.
I'm intrigued to see where he'll go. I really am.
I think he'll end up at Man United.
I think he will. I think he'll stick on to go to United. You know, City aren't going to take him. You know, and he's certainly not going to join us.
No, we can't afford him, can we?
I don't know.
But do you want to bring in a 30-year-old striker who's not going to fit into the squad either? You know.
No.
You know, you look at our forward line this season. You know, we scored from all over the pitch. Our midfielder is scoring 15 goals. You know, City. I don't know what City have, but I know they've got Haaland. He's banged in 35 goals this season.
Yeah.
Who's their next highest scorer after that?
Oh, jeez, I think everyone else is chipping in with goals, aren't they?
Well, this is it. They're chipping in, but you know, we've got 4 people at the front there who've all scored in the double figures.
Yeah.
And that's the way we've been set up. That's the way we're playing. And put somebody in all of a sudden, you know, it'll just disrupt what Arteta's trying to do there. And no, I don't think it'll work, to be honest. But he's going to score lots of goals wherever he goes to. You know,
I'm just intrigued the way he might go. It's not heard on a radio station that talk sport crap. On the way back from the Chelsea game, they posed the question where he might go, because I've just understand it's just a house built in Wentworth. So
okay, all right,
I might decide where he goes, but I don't know.
Well, then he could go to Chelsea.
That's what I think he's going to go Chelsea. I really do.
Yes,
maybe. Yeah.
Hate him even more, don't I?
You see the Spurs Arsenal thing. At least that has an honest history of hatred, right? But Spurs and Chelsea, the bitterness between them is absolutely vitriolic.
It'd be amusing to sit back and watch it happen, wouldn't it? But I think it'd make them pretty strong. But interesting. I just thought I'd pose it because I heard it on a talk show. It was quite interesting question where he might go.
Yeah, be an interesting transfer window this summer again for us. Yeah, I'm sure Edu and Arteta have their target set already. You know, get our business done early, hopefully, and get them settled in for the pre-season. I know we're in America, aren't we? I know one of the games is in New York against Man United. And not too sure. I think it's an M&S All-Stars, probably the other game, you know, what they normally do. You know, hopefully the Emirates Cup is back for the one day. I assume it is. And the August weekend, it's the easiest thing to do, you know. The fixtures are out June the 15th. June the 15th is when the 23-24 fixtures are out. So it'll be a few days after the Champions League final. I think the Champions League final is on the June the 10th.
Third or something?
I think it's a week after.
It's the week after. The FA Cup final for the 3rd, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's going to be a short summer for a lot of them. Yeah. But it's good. I think the players. It's good the way there's no Euros and World Cup on. You know, give the players a good rest. You know, and get them fresh again for another challenge at it. But look, this season isn't over yet. I'm not writing it off neither. We've got Brighton on Sunday. That's 4:30 on Sky. The 20th is Forest. That's away. They're winning 3-1 against Southampton. Looks like Southampton are gone tonight. And obviously Wolves then is the last home game. Yeah, so 9 points. We can finish on 90. So hopefully there's another twist or turn there, you know. City still have Everton and Chelsea, and I think Chelsea might get something off there as well.
Chelsea, Brighton and Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Bournemouth as well.
No, they've got Chelsea, Brighton and Brentford.
Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. Yeah.
Brentford are still chasing Europe themselves, so, you know, there's still a lot of teams City are playing that have something to fight for, yeah.
Brentford's chairman's a gooner as well.
Is he?
All right.
There we go.
Arsenal fan.
Are you listening? There's a season ticket in it for them if they do us a big favour in the last year.
Yeah.
They're actually at home.
I missed that. Who?
The Brentford chairman is a gooner.
The Brentford chairman. Okay.
Yeah, his name's escaped me now, but yeah, he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I know OZZY gave him a season ticket there for one of the matches.
I'll buy him a pint of Fuller's.
We need to find that chef that we found in 2006.
Oh yeah,
special lasagna.
The one that poisoned Spurs. Yeah, we need to find him. You know.
Yes,
I think he works Eamonn. I think
So
he worked
can
at
you
in Finsbury Park.
Hang on,
No,
we've got some contact.
can you put out a search on the podcast, Jonathan? Where is he now? The chef that was in Tottenham. We need him back quickly.
We've got some links in Manchester. Ken Barlow, are you listening?
He's
Ken
probably
Barlow.
He's actually gone working for Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's Dev from Coronation Street.
Dev, stop giving Deirdre one and getting that, making that share.
Oh, I'll tell you now. I mean, after spending good money there, you know.
Yeah.
It must have been so frustrating, Deirdre.
I knew I'd bring it back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Look, it's going to be an exciting end of the season, lads. An exciting run in compared to other years for us. So, look, big thanks to Arteta and the lads for giving all Arsenal fans a great season up to now. And I can safely say we no longer need a big name manager after me running the place. Now, I'd say that, and the next 3 games we get bleeding hammered and all them. They'll be gone for us.
Now, listen, pal, you're going to be sitting beside me on Sunday, right? So,
He's going to have his
about
Arteta
big name
shirt.
managers, okay?
He's going to have his Arteta shirt on.
Arteta out. And Eamonn we trust on the front.
He'd be like something out of Father Ted. Arteta out, down with that sort of thing.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. And then drink in the front. Just a shout out to the Arsenal women. 1-0. They won there on, I think it was Friday night. So they're still in the hunt. I don't know. Are they out of the title race now? I think they are now, aren't they?
Pretty much out of it, I think. Yeah.
Look,
I think it's between United and Chelsea now at this stage.
Yeah, it's it's nearly every season. It's gone down to the wire with United and Chelsea now, hasn't it? Yeah. But no, Jonas Edevad has done a great job with them. Great run in the Champions League and a great run in the league as well. Considering the amount of ACL injuries we've had, which is about 4 now. So, pretty depleted squad, but Katie McCabe has had another great season. She just keeps getting better with age, What a great advertisement for any young girls coming in the game as well, There's I was just watching the highlights there last night. It's on BBC after match today. The standard has gone so high, really great to see. And they're getting great exposure off Sky, BT, and BBC. So that's going in an upward trajectory as well. And I think rightfully so, and the Women's World Cup's coming up as well in July, so that's something to watch as well. Anything else, lads? Tickets now for the last 3 games is non-existent. Is there anything else you'd like mentioned on the show this week?
No. Pretty good. Yeah, I think we covered most there.
If a Forest ticket
comes
available,
I got we done goal of the month there. No, OZZY we gave to goal of the month. Matt, you didn't get a turn on it. Your April goal of the month. Which goal stood out for you?
Wow, God, give me a list. Put me on the spot. What I will say is, you were saying about our Odegaard's goal yesterday.
Yeah,
it was a brilliant goal, but he placed that ball perfectly. Yeah. I didn't think there was as much power in it as you would think. It was just placed so well, absolutely fantastically. Goal, Jesus, there's been so many. I'm going to go Rob Holding against Man City. Let's go for that.
That was a finish. That was a good finish.
Yeah,
it was a good finish. It was. Yeah.
Like for possibly his last game for the Arsenal, what a way to finish on a high.
Absolutely.
And he kept a hairband on and all for
He did. He managed to, yeah, absolutely.
Gave a little wink as well to Gabriel running by. No, that's the way you finish. You can't be the confident man. He came and look, obviously we're past his standard now. So, but look, as Eamonn said, he was brought in to do a job. He done a job, and sadly Arsenal have moved on, and
he's left with a full head of hair, mate. So he ain't done too bad out of it, is he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Eamonn is fighting to keep his own. OZZY's nearly there now.
I'm there.
Bat's there now, and thankfully I've a fine head of hair. Still there somehow.
No, you see, Jonathan, I need to say this to you because you've referenced hair a lot of times, right?
We're trying to
And I
get
need
this
to say
Turkish
that-
deal there, aren't we?
No, I need to say this to you. It's not what's on your head that counts. It's what's in it. And I'm obviously the clear winner in that department. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I have to say, if there isn't anything that's a certainty for a P45, it's after that comment.
Well, you might give me a P45, but I have your bloody Brighton ticket. So I think you need to kind of change your negotiating stance slightly.
Brilliant.
Well, I will get one on him over one day, but he has me in the
Pick your
corner.
battles, mate. Pick your battles, John. Pick your battles, mate. Don't do it now.
I'll look after you, Johnny. No matter what kind of abuse I have to take on this program, I'll look after you. You know.
I don't know. Come 6:15 on Sunday evening, could that be over?
Put his sock in it, Jazzy.
Also, that's I don't know if there's anything left, but ZENITH Coins are doing the clock end special edition coin. Check out zenithcoins.com for that. As always, check out our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. P45.ie if you're interested in downloading the form. I think I've run out. I think they've run out of it now since I've downloaded it so many times. Check out our sister show Beyond the Last Man with Martin Stoneville. Balon Sports Direct is our sponsor. JustArsenal.com for Pat McLaughlin and the River Bar for the last 3 remaining games and for any game going forward. Thanks to Matt again for coming on this week.
Cheers, Jonathan.
Eamonn, as always. And OZZY, thanks for coming on from the UK.
Cheers,
And as always, Eamonn's on to sing us out.
Am I? All I sing, don't stop believing, is it? We won the league at Anfield. Keep believing. We won it at the Lane. Stamford Bridge and Old Trafford. No one can say the same. Mikel Arteta's army. We're Arsenal true and true. We sing it on the North Bank. And in the clock and 2. Come on, my people. Allez, allez, allez. Allez, allez, allez. There you go. There you go.
I have to say, superb, lads, as always. The show should be up in the next few hours, thanks to Martin. I'm away at the match next Sunday, so I'm not coming back till the Monday. After a few dodgy PFC chicken wings, so we'll be back.
Tack out, mate. Or any other chicken establishment if you get in trouble for that.
Next show is
Taco
Tuesday,
Bell
the May,
supporting
lads.
weight loss instantly.
As you can see, it's doing OZZY the world of good, so keep eating it, OZZY. Next Tuesday, the 15th of May is our next show. So thanks to the listeners and viewers. Have a good week, lads, and up the Arsenal.
Cheers,
John,
lads.
Lads.
Cheers, lads.
viewers.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.